I'm going to use a stencil, some texture paste, a little bit of clay and paint to create a faux tin ornament for your Christmas tree. Hi there all my crafty friends, I'm Donna from Mason Creations Etc. and welcome to my channel. My crafty friend Diane W. asked me to make a faux tin Christmas ornament. Here you go Diane, this video is for you. And if you're ready, let's make a mess. This is a flat round plastic ornament blank I got on Amazon. I'm going to give both sides a quick sanding to start off. I love this stencil and it's perfect for faux tin. It reminds me of the tin ceiling panels. I'm going to spray the back of the stencil with Pixie repositionable stencil spray adhesive. This will keep your stencil from moving and nothing will bleed under it. I never do any type of stenciling without it. I'm going to use texture paste to create some texture on this ornament blank. I'm using a palette knife to spread it over the stencil. Then I'll remove it and you'll see a beautiful texture. Make sure you wash your stencil off right away. You don't want anything drying on your stencil, it will ruin it. I let that dry for about an hour and then did the other side. This and all the products you're going to see me use today came from decoupagenapkins.com, my wonderful sponsors. It's dry now and I'm giving it a very light sanding to smooth off any sharp edges. I used a silicone mold and some DOS clay to make 3 little bells for each side of the ornament. I removed them from the mold and now I'm gluing them to the ornament while the clay is still wet. I've had several requests to do an in-depth tutorial on how to use air dry clay. I'll be going over all the ins and outs as well as tips and tricks to give you a better clay experience. One of my crafty friends said she wanted me to show her how to not hate her clay, so that's what we'll be doing, my crafty friends. I'll show you how to not hate your clay. I'll be doing this tutorial in the near future. You'll want to subscribe so you don't miss it. I'm painting the little bells a combination of gold and silver using Pentart paints. I'll be painting the ribbons with Pentart red. It's such a pretty Christmassy color. I use a lot of Pentart paints. They are definitely one of my favorites. They go on smooth and creamy and have such great coverage. I almost never need a second coat, even with the metallic paints. Where are you watching from? Let me know in the comments. It's fun to see what cities and countries you are all watching from. I'm filming from Las Vegas, Nevada in the United States. Only one of the bells had a clapper on it, so I glued a couple of half pearls under the other 2 bells so they all matched. And then I gave them some gold paint too. I'm going to paint the entire background with Pentart Off-White. I just love this color. It's not a yellow based off-white like a cream color. It's very neutral and has almost a gray undertone. I painted both the front and the back. I'll let this dry for about an hour before moving on to the next step. I'm going to put some crackle texture paste on the curved edges. It's impossible to stencil on those edges because of the curve. I needed something else with a texture that would blend nicely with the stenciled texture. I'm spreading it on with a palette knife and this will need to dry for several hours. Once dry, there'll be some really cool cracks, and I'll paint it with the off-white to match the rest of the background. I test all the products that I recommend in my videos. I won't recommend anything that I haven't used myself and prefer. If I'm recommending it, you can bet it's a great product. Each product will be listed in my description box below and will have a blue link to make it easy for you to find. Any of the links I provide are safe for you to click on. I let the paint dry for about 30 minutes, and now I'm giving the whole thing a coat of Polyvine Heavy Duty Wood Varnish. Polyvine makes several different formulas, and this one is heavily resistant to moisture and heat, which makes it perfect for projects that will be exposed to water and heat. I'm using the satin finish because I'm going to be doing some antiquing to get that tin finish, and I need a shiny surface for that. I'll let this dry for an hour before moving on to the next step. Okay, let's make some tin. I'm mixing Pentart white gold paint with just a couple drops of a dark gray paint, along with some water to make it runny. I actually put in quite a bit of water and made it really runny. I want it to flow around all my texture. I'm brushing it over everything and then wiping it off the surface of the bells. It will remain in the crevices to give them an antique look. As I'm adding the antiquing, I'll be wiping and dabbing to get the look I'm going for. The only reason I can do this is because of the varnish. I'm also misting the background with some water to make the paint move around. I want it to flow off the top of the texture and go to the bottom and around all my lifted areas. I added more here and there wherever it was needed. I'll let that dry for about an hour before doing the other side. DecoupageNapkins.com has such a great selection of napkins that you can purchase one at a time. They carry many other craft supplies such as rice paper, paint, clay, mold, and a great selection of Polyvine products. Over 8,000 products and growing. They are wonderful to work with and will send your order out fast. They offer several automatic discounts when checking out. Subscribe to their newsletter by entering your email address and you'll receive 10% off your next order. They are truly your one-stop shop for craft supplies. Make sure you check them out. I'll be leaving links for all the products I use in my description box below. This is by far my most favorite process. I just love anything glittery and shimmery. I'm going to add some metallic rubs to both sides of this ornament. I'm using old silver and aged brass. I put the brass on the gold paint of all the little bells, and then the silver on the raised areas of the texture. The silver really adds to that tin look. I'm getting some of the rub on my finger, and then rub my finger and thumb together. This makes it so you don't get a big glob of product on your piece. You want to gently rub over top of the high areas to get a nice highlight. Once you put it on, you can't remove it, so make sure you put it on lightly. You can always add more. If you're enjoying this video, please let me know by hitting that like button. And why not share this with a friend? Thanks for doing that. Now I'm going to dirty it up a little bit and create some shadows. I'm using an antiquing wax in the color Soot. I just love this. It really makes things look old. I'm using an old brush to put this on. The way you rub it around can damage your brush. I'm adding it around all the bells to create a shadow and lift them up. This will get rid of the flat look and give more of the 3D appearance. I'm putting it on and then rubbing it a little bit with a soft dry cloth to fade the edges. You don't want to get a big glob of this either, so if I get too much on my brush, I rub some of it off on a napkin. You can always add more. If you want to see another project where I use this tin technique, you can click the banner in the upper right-hand corner. I will also leave a link to this video in my description box below. I also added a little bit of the soot around the outside edges. The red bows lost a little bit of their brightness with the antiquing process, so I added a little bit more red paint to them. Just dry brushing along the top surface. I don't want to disturb the antiquing in all the crevices. I let it dry for about 30 minutes and then gave the whole ornament a coat of the heavy-duty wood varnish in the satin finish. I'm using my little mini bow dabber tool to make some bows for this ornament. I started with a small silver cord vertically through the center of the bow dabber tool. Then I went from side to side with a sheer organza red ribbon that has a silver edge. Then I added a glittery silver ribbon. I pulled the silver cord upwards and tied both ends together. I made 2 large bows for the top of the ornament and 2 smaller ones for the bottom. I used a hot glue gun to attach the bows to the top of the ornament, 1 bow on each side. I added a large red rhinestone in the center of each bow. I used some of the small silver cord to tie the 2 bottom bows together. Now I'll glue them to the bottom in one piece. I trimmed all the ribbon tails and the silver cords and then added a red rhinestone in the center of them as well. Don't forget, all of the wonderful products I'm using today can be found at my favorite place for craft supplies, decoupagenapkins.com, and I'll leave you links in my description box below. I put together a playlist of some other tutorials you may enjoy. Click the picture on the right to be taken directly to that playlist. I'm so happy you were here with me today, and thanks so much for watching. I can't wait to see you all next week. I'm working on a new project with you in mind. You can subscribe by clicking my picture in the top right corner.